we used to call our country Giant of Africa. I don't think we are in that position anymore. And I think that is why you see all these countries now embarrassing and do whatever they like to do with Nigeria now. Ghana, about 28 million citizens. They are doing the same thing to us. Everybody. So to me, when we say that we should invite this, invite that, I think it's time for us to take action. The one that we see on the media, Kenya or Nigeria, our citizens, that's what we know. What about the one we don't even know? So I think the best thing for us today, I would like to lay my voice with what our big brother in the Senate, Senator Osemole. These people have an interest in our country. They have investment here and there. I think the first thing that we should do, that we should stop everything pertaining to South Africa in this country. Our people have invested so much money, have so many properties, so many companies in South Africa today. And we have to do something about bringing them home, and the South Africa refuse to do something to pay them for all their what they labor for. And I know because of the election is coming up in South Africa, the president of South Africa knows that one and refuse because the election is coming up. So we have to use our own power to what we have in this country to stop it and use that money to take care of all our people what they are lost in South Africa. That's number one. I think today we should take action. Our ambassador, our people that are working for Nigeria over there, we should call them to come back to Nigeria. We need to start showing the example for the other country before we become lapless to every other country. Like I said, Ghana is doing the same thing. Before you know it, a small country in Africa, Cape Verde, will do the same thing to us. So that's my submission, sir. Thank you, sir.
I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency. I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, the House is aware that the Republic of South Africa has over the years witnessed repeated wave of xenophobic violence.
Honorable colleagues, listen, because you may be called to make a debate on this. Honorable police, listen. It's a national important issue of national importance. You might be called to make a contribution, so please listen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House is aware that the Republic of South Africa has over the years witnessed repeated waves of xenophobic violence directed against Nigerians and other African nationals, resulting in the loss of innocent lives, destruction of businesses, unlawful arrest of Nigerians, forced displacement, and widespread fear. Recent reports, Mr. Speaker, indicate a fresh escalation of attacks targeting Nigerians, Ghanaians, Zimbabweans, Zambians, Mozambicans, Malawians, and other African nationals lawfully residing in South Africa. The federal government of Nigeria has confirmed the recent killing of the Nigerian citizen, of 2 Nigerian citizens, including one who reportedly died while in South African police custody, and another one who was brutally murdered in front of his business premises. These tragic incidents, Mr. Speaker, have once again exposed Nigerians and other African nationals to grave danger, despite repeated diplomatic engagement between Nigeria and South Africa. Also aware, Mr. Speaker, that Nigeria was one of the famous nations that stood firmly against apartheid through diplomatic leadership, through huge financial support to the Republic of South Africa, through humanitarian assistance, and through sustained political pressure that contributed immensely to the liberation of South Africa as a country. Thousands of Nigerians, Mr. Speaker, made sacrifices while successive governments committed enormous national resources in support of anti-apartheid struggle, believing in the ideals of African solidarity, justice and freedom. Mr. Speaker, it is therefore profoundly disturbing that Nigerians and other Africans are now facing persecution, humiliation, and violence attacks in the country whose freedom Nigeria helped to secure. concerned, Mr. Speaker, that xenophobic violence has become recurrent, systematic, and increasingly deadly. The repeated attacks have continued despite previous assurances by the government of South Africa that adequate measures will be taken to guarantee the safety of foreign nationals. Innocent Africans continue to lose their lives, while criminal perpetrators often escape justice, thereby encouraging impunity. Any inflammatory, Mr. Speaker, or hateful public statement capable of inciting hostility against Nigerians or other African nationals, as presented by South African Junior Minister, is irresponsible, unacceptable, and capable of aggravating already existing volatile security situation. The continued attack, Mr. Speaker, undermines the ideals of African unity. It equally undermines, Mr. Speaker, the ideals of Pan-Africanism, regional integration, and peaceful coexistence upon which African Union was founded. Cognizant that Section 19 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, enjoin Nigerians to promote African integration, international cooperation, and respect for international laws and treaty obligations. The African Charter, Mr. Speaker, on human and people rights guarantees every person right to live, dignity, equality before the law, and freedom from discrimination. The International Convention, Mr. Speaker, on the elimination of all forms of regional discrimination prohibits racial and ethnic discrimination and obliges state parties to protect all persons within their own jurisdiction. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Mr. Speaker, guaranteed the right to life, right to liberty, right to security of a person, and equal protection under law. Under customary international law, Mr. Speaker, every sovereign state owns a duty of due diligence to protect foreign nationals lawfully within its territory against mob violence, arbitrary detention, extrajudicial killings, and discrimination. Worried, Mr. Speaker, that failure to decisively address this recurrent attack could further endanger the lives and properties of Nigerians living in South Africa. Continued inaction may embolden perpetrators and weaken confidence of regional institutions established to protect African citizens. Those recurring attacks threaten diplomatic relations, economic cooperation, and continental integration. The continuous killing of Nigerians abroad, particularly in South Africa, without adequate accountability, diminishes confidence in the collective commitments of African states to uphold human rights, justice, and the rule of law. The House resolved, therefore, to once, Mr. Speaker, condemn in the strongest possible term the reoccurring xenophobic attacks, extrajudicial killings, unlawful detention, and systematic persecution of Nigerians and other nationals in the Republic of South Africa. Observe 1 minute silence in honor of Nigerians and other nationals who have lost their lives as victims of xenophobic violence in South Africa. Urge the federal government of Nigeria to immediately summon the South African High Commission to Nigeria to provide comprehensive explanation regarding the recent killings and to clearly communicate the official position of the government of South Africa on the protection of Nigerian citizens and other African nationals. Urge the federal government to demand an independent, transparent, impartial, and international monitored investigation into the death of affected Nigerians and all other African victims, with a view to ensure that the perpetrators of this are identified and prosecuted and punished. Mr. Speaker, the prayer is to also urge the federal government to formally engage the African Union the South African Development Community, SADC, the United Nations, and the African
Daddy, you have
Commission.
to shorten this, it's too long.
Just 1 minute, sir. On human and people rights, on protection of African national in South Africa, urge the federal government, which is very important, to evoke all available diplomatic and lawful international mechanisms to seek redress for proven violence of international obligation on to Nigerian. The federal government should immediately undertake a comprehensive review of our bilateral engagement with the Republic of South Africa and, where necessary, suspend the relations, recalibrate some specific areas of bilateral cooperation, and urge the federal government to strengthen consular services, legal assistance, emergency evacuation arrangement, and reintegration support for Nigerian victims. Call upon African Union and all other member states, finally, to collectively insist that the government of South Africa fulfill its obligations under the African Charter of Human and People's Rights and applicable international instrument, and consider diplomatic and lawful measure against the South Africa should the xenophobic attacks and other unlawful killing persist. May God bless Nigerians and other African nationals from wherever they are, and may God protect them. I so move,
Honorable
Mr. Speaker.
colleagues, my name is Benjamin Okeze Carlo. I represent the people of Nigeria, starting from Ben, the federal constituency. Honorable colleagues, I'm from Abia State. I rise this morning to support the motion that has been properly moved by my friend and brother from Plateau State, Honorable Gadi. Mr. Speaker, quite embarrassing that people who have the kind of boldness they exhibited, moving around with what is not in existence, carrying themselves as if they are a legal entity. Mr. Speaker, I was a victim. And I'm sure if you watch the news, you see my picture all over the screen. For reasons best known to the media organizations, my picture was made to trend, standing side by side by the purported DG of these organizations. Mr. Speaker, on the 2nd of May, 2025, my office got a letter. And that letter had the presidency on top of the letterhead. It had Office of the Director General.
Give me talk like that.
Presidential Economic Advisory Council, and also Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. 2 councils under 1 DG. Mr. Speaker, when I saw this, I looked down the letterhead. I saw Federal Secretariat Complex.
Order, please.
Phase 3, 2nd floor, Central Business District. And I saw the website that says pfipc.gov.ng. It was a bit confusing for me. Some of the information looked credible, some did not. I now send my team to go and verify the existence of this organization in the said accommodation, in the said address. Speaker, they came back confirming that this organization was in the said location. I now gave approval for them to come to have the interaction they had written to her. Mr. Speaker, do you know what is their interaction? Let me read you. He said, I want to bridge it. He said, we are coming specifically to appreciate you for an opportunity to discuss the following. Number one, the 10th House of Representatives Constitution Amendment process and implication for economic governance. Legislative priorities that can enhance investor confidence. Areas of collaboration between National Assembly and the Council to drive foreign investment. Mr. Speaker, ordinarily when you see a thing like this, and being the fact that the Parliament is an open house, we are the people's house, anybody who knocks on our door, we welcome them, especially after proper verification. We threw our door open for them to come and engage. Mr. Speaker, when they came and started engaging, the issues they mentioned in the letter they sent to me was not what they engaged on. They did not talk about the constitution that we were amending. They did not talk about the issues that they mentioned here. They were more about photo taking. And I looked the quality of the men who were before me on this visit, and I questioned whether actually they were properly engaged by the presidency.
Order!
Mr. Speaker, this goes on to show that a beautiful letterhead that has presidency is no longer a confirmation that an agency is legal. It goes to show that an address that shows federal secretariat does not mean that that particular agency is legal. It means that we have to do our job as proposed by that motion. They need to investigate deeper about how they got to where they got to with regards to our budget, how they got to where they got to with regards to the engagement they have with various government officials. It is our duty, based on 88 and 89, to dig deeper on this matter. And I'm happy it has come before the Parliament. I urge members to support this motion for the House to show Nigerian populace that we are in support of what transparency and accountability in governance is all about. We should be seen as doing that. I so lend my support to this particular motion, and I encourage other members of this House to lay their support so that we'll get to the root of this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the audience. Thank you.
Order, please.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I think with these two contributions, honorable colleagues, we can go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to another committee to be constituted in due course.
Representing Jere Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. Mr. Speaker, my friend Yusuf Gadi has brought in a very important, national important issue, which we must confront with a very loud voice in this chamber, because it has affected the very integrity of our democracy and sanctity of our budgetary process. The whole budget agency alleged created without the approval of the presidency or this hallowed chamber. And the presidency has publicly come out and disowned this agency. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, this is a very serious issue that is dear to the heart of Nigerians, that we must look at it and not only pointing fingers at the executive alone. We must also caution the budgetary provisions, which my honorable colleague has cited the section that gave us powers for us to scrutinize the budget. And these people find their way to even come up with budget headlines, ERGP numbers, and even monies appropriated. So therefore, while discussing this matter, I call the attention of my distinguished colleagues that we should look at it diligently, carefully, because there are a lot of hidden issues. So I am in total support that this matter should be investigated thoroughly, squarely, so that we will be vindicated as a parliamentarian and as a representative of our people who they believe in us. And we should look at it in all angles, that whoever is involved must be brought into book and face the full wrath of the law. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving this opportunity.